Hey everyone, let me introduce you to a tool that we can use to quickly provide feedback on student writing. This is a pain point for us across the network. We want our students to write frequently, but we struggle to have the time in class to read and respond to everyone's writing. So this is one area where we can leverage generative AI. Google has a generative AI called Gemini, and because we have a Google Workspace and everyone in our network has a Google account, anyone at Third Future already has access to Gemini. So you just have to go to, if you're on Chrome, you can click the Ask Gemini button up here in the corner, or you can go to gemini.google.com. And the cool thing about Gemini is the ability to create something called gems. A gem is similar to an AI agent that you train to perform specific tasks for you. So, for example, you'll see the gems here on the left side. One gem that I've created is called the STAR SCR Coach. And here's a look in the back end of how this gem is set up. So for the gem, we upload rubrics, or I uploaded these rubrics straight from STAR. And these are the rubrics to the short constructed response scoring guide for STAR. And they include exemplar responses to show what kind of responses, what kind of short constructed responses earn 0 or 1 or 2 points on the STAR. So I've uploaded these packets for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade short constructed response rubrics. And then I've given the gem specific instructions for how to grade the SCR. So the instructions tell the gem that its role is to shape the strongest student writers in the state of Texas. You are the official STAR SCR coach. And it outlines what it will do when the student uploads their short constructed response. So it says your goal is to provide constructive feedback based only on the rubrics and exemplars found in the attached sources. So based only on these rubrics. And also instructs the gem that you may not create or write the responses for the students. Students need to produce their own work. And then it talks through how it will grade. So the coach will provide a score for each category in the rubric, give evidence from the student's work for each score, compare the response to the exemplar levels, and then also give 1 glow and 2 grows for what the student's doing well, what they should continue to do, and then what they need to improve upon. And then we've also given instructions for the tone. This coach needs to be helpful and encouraging, using rigorous constructive criticism, keeping feedback concise and clear. So we've really outlined how this gem will respond to your students. So now when you go to Gemini and you click on the gem, let's get out of edit mode. Students are able to type their SCR into this chat box, and the chat bot will act like a writing coach, grade their SCR, and give the student feedback. So the easiest way that teachers can deploy this is through the Google Classroom, because teachers can attach this gem directly to an assignment in the Google Classroom. So I'll show you a couple ways that a teacher could do this. There's lots of different possibilities, but any of our teachers with a thirdfuture.org email address can create a Google Classroom by just going to classroom.google.com. And I am just going to show you what it looks like from the student side. So this is when your students log in, this is what it would look like. You have your class here. And then I have done 2 different examples. Again, lots of different ways that a teacher could use this gem, but here's 2 different examples. So your teacher could just post the text or the passage and the prompt into a post like this, and just an announcement post, and include the instructions at the top. So the instructions say copy and paste the text below into the STAR SCR coach, and you'll see that the gem, the SCR coach, is just attached right here onto the assignment at the bottom. So your student, and remember we're looking from the student view right now, so your student would read the passage, read the associated prompt, and then following the instructions, they would just copy and paste this text into the SCR coach. So they'll just go ahead and click the SCR coach at the bottom of the assignment there, and then they can just paste the passage, the prompt, and the response into the coach. So they type their response. Let's say I'm a 6th grader and the prompt says explain 2 benefits of community gardens. So I'll say gardens are great. They provide food for families so we can be healthier. Boom. Not a very robust, short, constructed response, but realistically something you might see from one of your 6th graders. So let's just see what the SCR coach has to say about our response. And remember, your coach should be only referring to the rubrics that were uploaded into the GEM. So it says, hello, as your SCR coach, I've evaluated your response. It gave 1 out of 2 points, and it gives justification for those points, and then gives some feedback, some glows and some grows on how to improve. Okay, so that is one way that we can deploy the GEM with just a copy-paste post like this. A better way, I think, to use this GEM is to assign it with a document. So when teachers assign a document in Google Docs, it creates a copy, or you have the option of creating a copy for each student. And that way the teacher is able to read, collect the responses, read the chat's feedback, and have something more concrete in their hands versus the post version. When the students are just typing into the chat box like this, there's not necessarily a good way for the teacher to go back and read those responses or collect those responses. So this is a quick way to do it, but instead of posting a copy-paste assignment like that, teachers can attach a document. So for this one, it says SCR practice. Open the document, write your constructed response directly into the document, and then open the SCR coach, upload the document to the coach, and say grade my SCR. So you'll see that the GEM is still here attached to the assignment right here in the Google Classroom. But instead of opening the GEM and copying and pasting the text and writing my response, instead I will open this document right here. So again, one cool thing about Google Classroom is it can create a copy of this document for each student so that you already have the documentation for them. So here we go. You have the passage. It's just about the power of small habits. Short constructed response. Why are small habits effective for reaching goals? And then as a student, the spot would be empty, but let's pretend that I typed it in right here in my response. Small habits are good because you do them every day, etc., etc. So I would go back to the Star SCR coach. And then as a student, I would add files from the drive, open up this one that I was just working on, and type into Gemini grade my SCR. So now the SCR coach is going to read the SCR and grade it. Again, it gives a score of 1 out of 2, tells me the justification for the score, and then gives some glows and grows for feedback. So what you could have your students do is copy this response and add it right into the document. Okay, your SCR coach feedback right here. And then if you wanted to have your students do a revised response, you could have them write another response into the document. So using the document in the Google Classroom is a good way to keep those files and check up on the work that your students are doing rather than just having them enter it into the chat box. Either way, whichever way you do it, you are able to attach this GEM to the assignments so that your students know what gem to use and how to deploy it. Okay? So those are just 2 examples of how to use this gem. We, again, once we create the gems for the network, they are able to be used by anyone with a thirdfuture.org email address. So you'll see them populate here on the left side. Right now we just have the STAR SCR coach, but then we'll also be creating a LEAP SCR coach for our Louisiana schools and a CMAS SCR coach for the Colorado schools. And then we might eventually be adding other gems as well relevant to NWA or other skills that we want to practice. They are unlimited, and you are able to create your own gems as well. So I highly encourage you to do a little research and play around with Gemini and the gems that you're able to create and leverage this AI tool for your students. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to help. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.